the way trades manifest themselves, it is a personal reflection as you and your identity. Like 100%, that's 100% correct. So if you're a more reckless person, you'll be a more reckless trader. If you're a more cautious person, you'll be a more cautious trader. Generally, what happens is cautious people get tired of being on the sidelines and they start taking risks. Reckless people get sick of losing money and doing stupid things, and they become more cautious. So whichever way you are, the market, whichever way you are. It doesn't matter if you're imperfect in any kind of way. It doesn't matter if you're too cautious. It doesn't matter if you're too reckless. Ultimately, the market will correct your personality and behavior and change you into the person that you need to be to profit.
Stephen Johnson from the StocksToTrade podcast. We have an exclusive offer for you users who want to learn and get better. It's called the Oracle Daily Alert, and basically it's an email. It hits your inbox about 10 a.m. every day, and it gives an indication of the hottest stocks of that day and the recommended entry and exit points for them. So click the link and check it out. You get the discounted offer.
Welcome back to the StocksToTrade podcast. We've got Kim and Stephen back. We've got the whole team together here for what we're going to talk about today is, it's the new year. We're recording this, it'll come out a few weeks later typically, but, we're recording just after the first of the year. And, we just kind of want to talk about really what our goals are, what are maybe even some predictions. I've got some predictions myself. I want to rib Stephen on some of his predictions. And I think it would be fun. Basically, what we're trying to do here is, it will be one of our goals to also kind of maybe I would love to have an episode, say late December this year of 2020, and it might be fun. Maybe we'll get a bunch of stuff right. Maybe we'll get colossally fail on a bunch of predictions. But it's a new year. We figured this would be kind of something to come back with. So welcome back, Kim. Welcome back, Stephen. Got the band back together as the
band back together.
Yeah.
If we were a band, I don't know who would play each instrument. That's the irony of it.
I was a lead singer. I was a lead singer in a band.
You're like the angry drummer.
You'd be the drummer.
He'd be the angry drummer. I'd be like Jim Morrison getting naked on stage.
You would burn your drum set to the ground.
How are you guys? It's been some time.
Yes, yeah. So I kind of maybe start out with you, Stephen. What are your big goals for this year? I mean, I know your trading's been going well again.
It's super good.
I know you've been busy, obviously at work again. What are you thinking for 2020? What are your big goals?
Nah, but I mean, sometimes trading is just about having some confidence and some self-belief, and it's like NFL or soccer. If a confident player can be a very good player, and an underconfident player can make a lot of mistakes and have poor judgment and let that like cloud them around decision making. But when I look back at last year, I've only traded with Trade Zero last year, and I printed my account summary and saw that I was net profit for a couple of thousand, like maybe just under. It just gave us so much confidence to think I can do this. And I was up like 7,000 in the last 6 months or something. I thought, wow, I can really do this. And that's trading off a $600 account. And so I've started. So last year just gave us the confidence to think, wow, I can do this, and I can cut the losses if I put my mind to it. And this year it's all about just one thing. Me phrase of 2020 is you are trading to build discipline, and you're trading to practice discipline and not to make profits. 2020 is all about building the muscle of discipline, like a weightlifter would, and that's all I'm focused on in 2020.
Yeah, I think
not profits, just discipline.
And I love that mindset, and I've complimented you many times about your long mindset of approaching trading. And I just again, it's like it just drives me nuts that people think that they can accomplish this in a week or a month or whatever. And it's so much refining, and it's so much you against you. I mean, listen, you could probably learn the mechanics of trading. I mean, if you locked yourself in a room, you can learn it in a month or something. But then it's you against you, and that is a battle you're never going to win. I mean, it's like that you gotta do it every day, whether it's your fitness, your trading, your business, your whatever you're working on. It never ends, and I love your attitude in that regard.
No, and it's taken years to shape that mindset, because at one point I'd be like, I'm down in this position. I'm just going to go to the bar, have a pint, walk home, not look at my phone, and hope that it turns out okay. And it sounds ridiculous, but there's millions of people out there who do the same thing.
I mean,
they just don't admit it.
Number one, I so much appreciate your honesty in admitting that, because, man, I know, like you said, I mean, so many newer traders are like, what am I going to do? And they just walk away and hope for the best. But they would probably never admit it.
No, but I just want to say two more things, and then I want to hear from Kim, because Kim's going on to I want to hear from you and how you did last year and what your plans are for this year, how you'll refine it. But Kim's got a big announcement about what she's doing in the future. But the only things I want to say about me are, one, Mike Tyson said, everybody's got a plan until they get punched in the face. And two, you're only right until you're wrong. And I can think of 2 trades. I've only made 4 trades this year in the last 6 days, maybe 5 max. But what I would say is, if I was trading for profits, I'd be up more this year. Then I'm up like 550. I'd be up more. Mm-hmm. But I'm trading for discipline. And I know if I did trade for profits, like, I might make money now, but I would lose a hell of a lot more later. Oh. So I've been trading safely, making less money, but I'll make more over the year. Do you know what I mean?
Yep.
Straight.
And because
it's a standard.
You're only right until you're wrong.
You know, it's, to use the corny analogy, it's like the tortoise and the hare. You know, it's like you're just trying to be that tortoise, plugging away, which is, again, that's my style as well, and just looking to just plug away for a year. It's not about huge swings up or down. You know.
Nah, and like it's not. I'm gonna miss this trade. I better short. I better make some money today. I better hit me target today. It's not about a daily target. It's about a yearly target, and 3 red months can be there. Do you know what I mean? But how was your year, Tim? Just quickly, like, are you swinging red months ever? Are you like, I'm steady 12 green months?
No. I mean, I do. Obviously, I do have, an occasion, several red months. But, again, I still just keep plugging away at the normal numbers that I hit. I don't trade a ton anymore. I mean, my focus, is kind of like you. I mean, it's like I'm extremely busy with the StocksToTrade Pro mentorship program. I mean, I'm doing, I've talked about it in the past. I've done 1,900 webinars in 4 years. Some days, a day like Monday, did 4 webinars in one day, plus a YouTube live, plus an Instagram live. So, I mean, that's really my focus now. But yeah, I mean, again, still have the red months here and there, but they're not bad. And you just keep grinding away. And I've been doing that for 14 years now. And once you get to that point where, especially in the beginning, you have those bad days, more bad days than you want, you just get sick of it. And then you realize that, listen, if I repeat this stuff that works, focus on that, then I can accomplish my goals. And no, I didn't make $20 million trading last year, but that's not the kind of risk strategy I want to take. I mean, that's not what I'm trying to do. So,
and we'll get on to Kim, but I just want to say one thing, like, red months are normal in trading. Like, I believe, like, I saw duck statements. I know, like maybe Tim Sykes doesn't have red months. I don't know. He does pretty good, but like 99.9% of traders, I think you're going to have some red months, and a month's a long time. So, but it's the mental discipline and not make the red month a huge red month.
When you're in that month, it feels like an eternity. Yeah.
But it's mental strength, right? It's Goggins strength.
Yep.
But we have Kim on Curtin, and she is about to be the newest. She's the teacher and psychologist of Wall Street, but now she's about to dip her toes literally into Wall Street, but not the high end Wall Street, the pennies of Wall Street,
into the disgusting gutter of penny stocks.
I mean, I feel excited, but still trepidatious. But I feel, we have our book club, and I know we're going to talk in the next episode about trading in the zone, but that's so far my favorite book in our book club because
nice.
I feel there's so much in that book that I have read before in my quest for consciousness, in my quest for spiritual kind of enlightenment, if you will. And all the spiritual teachers I've worked with and all the kind of, coaching books I've been drawn to, it feels like I could take the word trading out of that book and put life in its place. And it's everything I've been studying for, this journey of 13 years of being a coach and being a coach who does work on themselves. Like, I think the best coaches are the coaches who keep practicing what they preach and do their own work and look at their own places where they are unable to, be with hard stuff. So I feel so much like, I guess I feel excited and kind of curious how I'm going to do, because I have been practicing the philosophy that someone like Trading in the Zone, what is his name again? Is it Douglas?
Mark Douglas.
Yeah. Mark Douglas. So everything that Mark Douglas is saying in that book, I have been hearing and listening and trying to practice in my own life with regards to everything outside of trading. So how interesting will it be for me to go into trading with that mindset, but coming from a different perspective? So, I'm excited.
So 2 points I have is yeah, I mean, well, actually 3 points. First one is, I mean, that's something I talk about in the pro mentorship program all the time. I mean, this is a skill. It is a journey. It's like no one, goes from an electrician to wiring, a high-rise building. I mean, you become you're mentored by someone, then you work underneath someone for several years. Then you get your journeyman's card, and then you go out on your own. And I think that there's, engineering, lawyers, doctors, all of this stuff, there's this set process where day trading, they just give you a laptop and a couple $100 and they're like, here you go. E-Trade won't stop you.
Right.
If you can fund your account, they don't care. So number one, that's what I love about your approach and your thought process. And then the second thing I want to touch on is you mentioned the coaches having a coach. And that's what I many of Stephen and I have both been working with Kim, and I've seen some interesting changes in myself by having, even though I'm basically a professional coach already, by having a coach on top of that. So if you're into trading or you're into anything and you're listening to this podcast, don't discount the value of constant improvement and having that coach. If you're a small business owner or whatever, I mean, take advantage of that stuff.
I think it's hard to be neutral when looking at yourself. And I think part of what I'm learning from you and from Stephen is that both of you are self-reflective. And that is part of what I think does, keep you it sets you apart from, and that's part of what I'm learning with all the books I'm reading that you guys, are suggesting to me, and watching you both, and I had a private session with Stephen recently. Like, you guys are paying attention, not just to the trades and the fundamentals of the market, but you both are paying attention to yourself. Just as Stephen opened this podcast, he's talking about, it's about the discipline. It's about his own discipline. So I feel like you guys are both talking about the concept of being self-aware, and that the more self-aware you both become, the better you see your trades. So I think the concept of, I'm not saying I'm perfectly self-aware, but I've certainly spent so much of my life trying to be self-aware. I still get triggered, but at least I understand usually what has triggered me. So if I bring that in to the mix of both of what you guys are teaching me, then I kind of feel excited that I'm going to be able to at least go in there and be as close to neutral as possible. I mean, I know I'm not going to be completely neutral, but at least I'll know, oh, you know what? I'm not neutral now. That means I better get myself out.
And that was the third point, and then I'll give it back to Stephen. That this is what I'm so curious about, is this little our laboratory project, for lack of a better term, with Kim here is
A lab rat.
yeah, exactly. I don't know. I almost got to believe this might be a first, in that Stephen and I are going to teach Kim the mechanics of trading, where she's already been studying the emotions for years, and the ego and all these, and the discipline, where I got to believe that 99.9999% of anyone else has always taken the same path Stephen and I did, where, and everybody, I think everybody, they get into trading because they see the money, et cetera. They buy the books, they watch the DVDs, they learn the charts, they learn the technicals, then they have learned the emotional and discipline stuff just by fucking getting their head kicked in the head for 5 years.
And thinking I need to get a book.
So I'm very intrigued by this project for 2020, because it's almost like I just don't know anybody that, again, has approached the emotional side before the technical side. So hopefully Stephen and I don't ruin you. But
as I'm reading this book, specifically Trading in the Zone, like what keeps coming to me are so many of like the teachers that I've had. Like there's one particular spiritual teacher of mine, his name is Joseph Aldo. And he has there's one particular line. I know we're not doing the book now, but this is my favorite line in the whole book, where he says that everything, your trades, I just have to get this phrase. Basically, everything you're experiencing in your trade is a reflection of you.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my God. Yes.
Right?
Yes, of
and
course.
So, and Joseph has taught me repeatedly that everything in my life is a reflection of me. So I have been coming from this place, reading this book, thinking I almost want to reach out to all the teachers or coaches or people I've worked with who have this mastered around life, around how to be neutral, about taking 100% responsibility for everything. And I want to say to them, you guys could be unbelievable traders. Like, do you even know that if you take this philosophy you're living your life with into trading, you're going to kill it? That's what I want to say to all of them. So anyway, I'm pretty excited.
But I would say if you embrace the philosophy, like the way I see it is like the way trades manifest themselves, it is a personal reflection as you and your identity. Like 100%, that's 100% correct. So if you're a more reckless person, you'll be a more reckless trader. If you're a more cautious person, you'll be a more cautious trader. Generally, what happens is cautious people get tired of being on the sidelines and they start taking risks. Reckless people get sick of losing money and doing stupid things, and they become more cautious. So whichever way you are, the market, whichever way you are. It doesn't matter if you're imperfect in any kind of way. It doesn't matter if you're too cautious. It doesn't matter if you're too reckless. Ultimately, the market will correct your personality and behavior and change you into the person that you need to be to profit.
Just
if
like
you stay in the game long enough.
Just like life.
Just like in life, yeah, you make mistakes, you mess up, and you learn how to behave in a different way.
Yep.
But it was just it was interesting what you're saying.
That was pretty profound right there.
It is. I am profound. Profound.
Did that come to you? Did that come to you at the Hooters in Thailand or not?
It just came to me when look, Kim made a statement that we both know as traders. The fact that the trades that you make are manifestations of the person you are, it is a very literal automatic assumption for someone who's been trading 2 or 3 years. You just know that already, like, of course. But it just it triggered me to the next stage. But one thing I want to talk about was when you were saying when you're talking about how me and Tim are both quite self-reflective. This has been, Tim, I don't know if he looks back at his 1900 live streams. I don't think he does anymore. But the reason I do the free live streams on YouTube, or the reason I live stream it, believe it or not, I just wanted to say I'll live stream on YouTube not to help, it's to help other people, and it's because it's fun to interact. But also, as soon as that live stream is finished, I'll record like 9:30 till 10:30. As soon as that's finished, I'll sit and watch it back and think what was, because all I'm doing is a live narration of what thoughts are going on in my head. I just sit and watch it back. Think, was I thinking accurately there? Was I making the right decision there? Was I getting over emotional there?
That's a great tool that I've heard many people actually will do is, if you have the time, I think, listen, I think,
Record
Macs and PCs, I think they come with the software built in now. Great tip out there. If you're if you're struggling with discipline, if you're struggling with sticking to your plan, sticking to your stops, just, you don't have to put it on the internet, just record it. And
it's like a diary.
Exactly. Like a verbal diary. And then again, if you, and speak your thoughts. And then if you let that stop run, watch that back, and you'll hear in your own voice saying, stop out, stop out, stop out. And you don't,
That's different than, the being able to watch yourself in a crisis is different than recording it, because you're going to see things different when you watch yourself. Hopefully in that moment, you're going to watch yourself as neutrally as possible, and not make yourself wrong for the places where you see, oh, look at how I was influenced by this. But I think that's going to be a very profound experience. I'm curious to see what happens by you watching yourself. That'll be.
No, but I mean,
and then when you do that, you will truly know when the chickens come home to roost. So.
And you will truly know I'm getting arrogant.
Was I hearing things, or is there a rooster in the background?
I think there was a rooster in the back. I don't know. I think you're messing around with stuff.
Yeah. So that was the universe underlining what you just said too.
But I think it's important that if you're getting arrogant or if you're underconfident, when you self-watch it back, or if you make a big loss, if you make a loss, then normally you won't learn till the second or third or fourth time you make the same mistake in a row. But if you watch it back, then it should like halven the amount of times you make the mistake because you've seen it the second time. But Kim, what's going on with you? You're a trader now or what?
No.
What's going on?
Yeah, but I'm preparing to become one.
Have you made a trade?
I've watched season 1. I'm not ready to trade yet. I got.
You haven't made a trade? Oh, it's just the cautious one.
Well, see, you keep trying to get her to short a low float, and I keep trying to get her to paper trade. So hopefully we can come together here. So yeah, Stephen, Kim and I, we did a couple episodes, over the holidays while you were busy, and and we got an update from her, and what my goals are to get her here pretty quick, when she's comfortable, get her paper trading here soon. And I will try and do anything I can to keep you from getting her to short a day one low float. I gave an analogy.
Makes money.
Yeah, but come on, she's totally.
Did you see? I know, but did you see MTL today? Was it MTL? MTP. That morning show was beautiful.
You can't even remember the stock you shorted an hour ago.
I can't remember one of the 3 letters of it. But did you see? I'd never heard of MTP before today. But it was a good short. I'm not sure where it is now, but it was a good short. You saw the big red candles on there.
Yeah, and it was crappy. Again, crappy biotech. No history of holding spikes. It wasn't particularly low float.
That was 25 mil. But what do you think of Pixie? That Pixie was a mad one today. Would you have took Pixie long or short?
It's too risky because it was so weird. Because it was so. Just a quick recap on PIXY. I mean, I was kind of baffled by. I mean, it's a recent IPO. It had gotten destroyed for a year. Then they do a reverse split like a month ago. And then today they do some weird recapitalization and it gaps up 50%. So I stayed away on both sides just because I was simply like, what the fuck is this thing? So
but when it dropped and the volume was so high and the float so low after the reverse split, I was like, it might not squeeze to highs, but it'll squeeze. Like there's a good chance it's not going down and down and down. And it squeezed in the end as well. I don't know where it's at now, but that's the weirdest stock of 2020. That was weird. I found it so weird as well. And that is unpredictable as shit.
There's a tip I will give, to the newer trader. And again, I know I'm this 14-year veteran now. And I've seen a lot of stuff. I've got the 1,000-yard stare from everything I've seen. But the tip is, if you look at something like Pixie, and I mean, again, I was like, what is going on? Why is this thing doing what it's doing? Don't be afraid to just step away. And that was my notes in Stocks and Trade Pro this morning.
So you stepped away, and Stephen, you didn't step away.
No, I was well away from that. I was well away. Yeah, I was like, what the hell is going on with that stock? I mean, that's not long, that's not short, that's nothing. It's playing with fire. That's all that is.
That's good. That's good to know. Okay,
Oh,
that's good. Because I think I see the both of you have your own styles. So it's interesting. This is the first time. Am I right? This is the first time I've ever heard you both on the same page with.
No, we agree on nearly everything. We agree on nearly everything, to be honest. Yeah.
Yep.
We agree on nearly everything.
And when we, and longtime listeners will know about our, joking about shorting low floats. My biggest thing is, and going back to like what I said before, I mean, it is not a newbie technique. And that's what always concerns me is, and Stephen knows this, so many
I agree.
people that are like 1 week in are trying to short some 500% runner, and they have no idea the potential downside. They have no idea the risk. They don't know how.
What do you want me to do?
Exactly.
You want me to fail, Stephen?
No, I'm saying tell me your trades in advance, and I will warn you, or I will encourage you and then I'll educate you based on each trade by trade experience. I'm not saying just short random. But Tim, remember when I used to short anything that was up?
Oh yep. So
they were the days.
Yep. I don't even know if you knew what the float was back then. I don't, so I don't even know if you looked at I don't even know if you looked at like a multi-week or multi-month chart back then. You just just saw it gapping up and were like, I'm going to short it.
I mean, it's sad to admit, but honestly, I used to short first, and then when it went wrong, I would check the float, and I would. It's so bad, but like now I'm so much more cautious. But I just thought I had my strategy and it worked, but I'm so much more cautious now. But Kim, so what have you learned this year, and what steps do you need to make to get to take a trade, and where do you think you're going to be at the end of the year? Three barrel question.
Hard to predict the future. What I've learned this year is that I think, because when I've done the coaching with traders over the years, I think now there's pieces that I'm putting together around, okay, now me being a trader. I don't think I ever saw myself as a trader. But I think now the more I've read these books, watched obviously the podcast, the season to you early back in the day when you first came on, I can hear that there's something here that, like, of course, this is almost inevitable that I would trade. And I'm kind of like loving the fact that it's magically happened. This 2019, I mean, brought me to you guys. You guys had me on, God, what is it, 6 months ago? Mm-hmm. And, this has been a huge opportunity to get to be a part of you guys. I like you both personally. I respect you both professionally. I think you both have a lot to teach me. I'm really wide open to learn whatever I can from both of you. So I'm reading the books, I'm watching the videos, I'm listening to the podcasts, and I think I am someone who does take a little bit of time to absorb things and walk around things a couple of times, like look at it in the morning, look at it at night, the mountain, what it looks like from different parts of the kind of plane. So I probably need to do that, but I probably will be more cautious about when I jump in. But I did try to set myself up. I did do that session with you, Stephen, looking at like where I need to go to potentially trade. But yeah, so my prediction is that I will, I don't know, let's see, maybe, how about I say, just to be on the conservative side, in 8 months or so, I'll take a trade.
That is ridiculous. That is ridiculous. That is ridiculous. I hope that's a joke.
Stephen wants you to go in 8 days.
I hope that's a joke. I hope this is you've been framed and I'm being set up right now. I hope that's a joke. I hope you're joking.
Oh, but you want me to use my own money and you want me to go in like 8 days, right?
But yeah, there's a rooster there. This is Tim Bohen playing some game.
How much time do you?
Yeah. Actually, good question. So, Stephen, so she's only a few weeks into this, where we kind of decided we're going to teach Kim trading. So she's only a few weeks in. It's been the holidays. Everybody's busy. What's your opinion? Should she be trading something this afternoon, or what do you think?
I'd say just go along the top performer, top of the scan. No, I would say my advice to you would be, and the way I learned, and like I'm not saying I'm kind of profitable these days. Like last year, I'm proud. It's a self-realization that I'm finally there. But being a profitable trader, my advice to you would be, I don't know what your schedule's like. I don't know what your time's like, but I would dedicate, if you can, 4 to 5 hours of watching videos, DVDs, and studying. And then when the market opens, or when the market in the afternoon, whatever best suits your schedule, I'd spend at least like 1 or 2 hours watching the market, and I would pick one trade and I would write a trade plan, and then I would look at it at the end of the day and I would say, why did that work or not work? And then maybe get mine or Tim's feedback and get a second perspective on it. And it's okay to lose $5 or $10 each way, because it makes it a bit more real. And you can up the ante or down the ante with commitment, depending on your personal schedule. It can be less or more, but do you know what I mean?
I think I need some real basics, like even the day you and I went into the system.
Scans.
I didn't even know what I was looking at. So like, I don't even know how to write a trade plan yet. So.
But yet Steven still wants you to trade this afternoon.
But I would but
and that yes. Went right over his head. He didn't even he's like, yeah, whatever.
Yes, no, I hate it. But then I would say, if you're not ready, okay, so I'd say if you're not ready to trade, spend all of February watching StocksToTrade Pro and videos.
Yep.
And then and it's so difficult, because like I remember it took me maybe a year to even realize that I needed to trade a specific setup. It took maybe a year to think, oh my God, first red day setup. Oh my God, gap and crap setup. Or like, oh my God, first green day. Or oh my God, penny stock and framework. It took about a year. So like, maybe I'm thinking it's easier than it is, and it's not, because you're a very clever woman, Kim. So I'm thinking it's easier, because I'm a little bit retarded a little bit.
Well, I would say this, that I was letting you speak your piece. Kim, I think we can do way better than 8 months. Okay. I think with Steven and I, and with the podcast, and him and I have all these resources we can give you. Again, I'm going to give you the best of StocksToTrade Pro. I think a couple months we can get the rubber meet in the road. So I think it's a good compromise. Like Steven said, spend all the next month, etc. But I want at some point. Yeah. And we can do it with paper trading too, because remember, if you blow up paper trading, big deal.
It's got to be real.
Double click. I'm a bit of a perfectionist.
Yep.
And
that can be a problem. That can be a problem. Remember,
my thing is, I like to do things right. I like to do things perfect. I like to have the Tiffany blue box with the white bow on top. And if I don't get that, I'm like disappointed in myself. So of course, how can I not want to do this right too? So I'm like, okay, I have to plan, I have to practice, I have to this before I jump in, and so I'm bumping into my own stuff already.
But you've got to put the hours in, though, yeah. I mean, you've got to put the hours in. That's the thing, and a lot of it's self-learning. And
again, many of the listeners probably know. I mean, Kim has a career. I mean, she's not retired. So obviously, again, the listeners, many of you are probably busy as well. And one of the great things about trading is the market's always there. So that is an issue, because she has a very busy professional career. She's got a life, et cetera, too. So, which I'm sure every listener does as well. But
Yep. But I am, I have listened to all of season 1, which was your first homework assignment, Tim, and then reading these books for the book club. I feel like that's exposing me to things. And then I'm going to watch. You said you were going to give me some of the best of your conversations, and then Stephen, maybe you'd be open to that too. I'm sorry, all the chickens are outside my window today.
I thought Tim was making a noise on the computer.
No.
My God.
Those chickens and roosters outside my window, because Hawaii, if you know anything about Hawaii, it's just filled with chickens and roosters. And I literally 2 weeks ago, there was actually a chicken crossing the road during like peak traffic. And I was like, why did the chicken? Like every car was like really wanting to kind of run them over, but it's Hawaii. So you're like, just be chill. But it was really hilarious. So those are real chickens. Yeah. So Stephen, would you point me to your best of like, because
Well, I don't really have any best. I'm pretty
Oh,
destructive.
but I think we talked before the podcast. So what's great?
I'd say watch the live streams.
Exactly, and to the listeners out there, Stephen has started his live streaming. Every day he can. What's your Twitter handle again, Stephen?
Junk87, JONK87.
So follow Stephen on Twitter, and he's going to start. He's been live streaming. So yeah, Kim, that's all I was going to say. The best of Stephen would be just to watch him live tomorrow. Yeah, yeah. Because the nice thing is, what he's doing is very similar to like what I do in pro. You see his screen, okay? Yeah. You see the chart. He's pointing at things, explaining things. So I think that's a great way to learn from Stephen as well. So
yeah, and the other thing is I'm nowhere near as good as Tim Bohen is, but if I make a loss, I'll have the courage to say, yeah, I think I messed up here. Mm-hmm. And if it's a profitable trade, I'll equally on the same side of things saying that worked, but I don't think I'd do it again. I think it's a lapse in discipline and I got away with it. So there's the courage in retrospect, to be honest, in it, and that's what I like about it.
Cool. Okay.
But so mission get Kim profitable this year, right?
Yep. That's
and then next year, if we get Kim profitable, it's mission get a stranger profitable.
Yeah, I like it.
Get a total random, but we should do it anyway. We should do it alongside his.
Well, remember that's actually.
Let's get Kim first.
We could always that's the story of the turtle traders. Which it's probably a book we should read. Michael Cavell, which is also a guest I'd like to have.
Yeah.
That was the story of the turtle traders. They just took guys off the street and taught them a system, and like I think 19 out of 20 of them were profitable. And they said they were like, these are the rules. Yep. Follow the rules exactly, and all the guys that followed the rules became profitable. Yeah.
Wow.
But I like the idea of like getting someone who maybe not a total beginner, but someone who's losing, and say, all right, in 1 year, mission get this person profitable. Because it's not, the paper trading was too many. It was good, but there was like 6 contestants. There was a lot of mentoring. But if you just get one person and say, we're going to turn your life around, let's see if we can, I think that would be an awesome thing.
Let me tell you, if you put that out there, you are going to have a lot of people apply for that position. Everybody.
Well, and the classic, see, this is always the crux of it is, and I believe, and you can fact check me, the listeners can. Oh, I can't remember. He's one of the ones from the turtle traders, and it bums me out I'm forgetting his name. But the quote was, he's like, you could put the rules in the phone book. You could put these trading rules in the phone book.
True that.
Still 9 out of 10 would fail because 9 out of 10 don't follow the fucking rules, so.
No, but do you remember the episode where I laid out the 6 criteria to short a low float stock? And I literally laid out every criteria, and I promise you, if you follow every criteria to a T, you will never lose shorting a low float stock. You'll rarely lose. You'll be profitable. And you said, great podcast, but I guarantee no one follows the rules, so everyone will lose. And it's true. It's exactly the same as what you just said. The success to trading could be put in a public phone book in a library, and still everyone would lose.
Or 90% would lose. Just like
90% would lose.
Yep.
All right, I have a question. What's your prediction for me? Do you think I'm going to go
absolute failure?
Or similar to Tim style? So I didn't hear you. What you said.
So style or results? What do you?
Both. What's your prediction? Style and results.
Stephen, you want to go first? Or you want me to?
Yeah, I was just messing around, but I was saying absolute failure, but I was just joking. My prediction for you is that I think you'll come out of the next 12, being brutally honest, I think you'll come out of the first 12. How much study time are you going to put in? This is something I need to know before I predict for you.
How much what?
How many hours a week you think you're going to dedicate?
Oh, I think it's safe to say probably 3 to 5
hours a day or a week.
A week.
3 to 5 hours a week, I would say that you'll have a basic grasp of trading. You may understand some setups, and you would have took some trades. That would be my
You
guess.
think
But
I'm
what do
gonna
you say, Tim?
be like you though? Do you think I'm going to be like doing short or longs?
In terms of style, I think you won't know which style suits you yet. You'll not be comfortable with either. 3 to 5 hours a week is not it's not enough
How many hours do you
to
think
get.
is enough?
I'd say 3 to 5 a day at least.
To be profitable in a year, I think is what he's saying.
To be profitable, to
Okay.
be profitable in a year or two.
Yep.
Just being
Times-
honest.
times
So as
5.
much as it pains me, the listeners know nothing hurts my soul more than agreeing with Steven, but I agree with everything that he just said. And listen, again, I'm not trying to give you a guilt trip or anybody out there. The simple fact is Kim has a very busy professional career. But if you can only spend 3 to 5 hours a week, that's cool. I'm not putting that down, but it's going to take years, and just like Steven said, like when it comes to style, I don't think, and again, I'm not giving you a guilt trip, but spending that amount of time over the next, 11 months, you're probably not even going to know what style works for you.
Gotcha.
Because of the time commitment. And that's just reality. It's just reality. I mean, I'm not trying to learn brain surgery on the side, at 3 hours a week. If I tried to learn brain surgery 3 hours a week, I would be a brain surgeon in 2050. So
So being super real, because I think it's important. I'll say, are you a top trading psychologist in 1 year's time? Yep, I think you've been a top trading psychologist for the last 10 years. Will you know trading in 1 year based on that study time? I'd say no.
But that's fine. That's fine.
Yeah.
But it's okay
And
because I know nothing about trading psychology. So neither would do.
Well, we're learning it though.
We'll
We're learning it. Steven and I both learned it, but we learned it in the school of hard knocks.
Yeah, I paid a lot of money for it.
Exactly. Hey, me too, brother. Me too.
Those that work with me pay a lot of money for it too, so differently. So like you guys just see that as like you hired a coach by losing the money you've lost. Life itself, trading itself was your coach, right? And
well, they call it market tuition. It's like no matter what path you take, if you're self-taught, if you're learning from other coaches, if you're learning from us, everyone pays that market tuition. It's just the game.
That's the entry fee, right? That's the entry fee to be able to make that profit, which is life as well, right? We have to pay an entry fee to kind of navigate this life. All right, so if the 3 to 4 hours a week,
she's already rounded down. It was 3 to 5.
You're not.
I'm not rounding down. I'm thinking, okay, I'm trying to think, how can I do more than that? Since, I'm also, as much as I like things perfect, I also am somewhat impatient New Yorker at heart. And, I like things to move quickly. So I feel a little unhappy with how long you guys are saying that will take me. So I'm like, can I ratchet it up? So anyway, we'll see.
Well, that's ultimately up to you. Again,
I could get somebody to pay me for the 3 to 5 hours a day.
That's not how it works, man.
Because I'm making every time is money right now, right? So if I'm going to take 3 to 5 hours out of my business day, not have clients to learn something I'm not getting paid for, I have to think that through.
Steven lived it. Steven went. I mean, you went like months with like no social life, right?
Yeah, no, it was crazy.
Social life?
No, and I'm not. Again, I'm complimenting Steven.
I work so much.
No, I went.
Get a social life.
I went. Honestly, I will tell you the truth. I went about 18 months to 2 years with. Basically, I worked 9 till 5, and then 9 till 6, and then I studied like 7 till 1.
Really?
And watched the market and studied. And then I used to get up at 6 to do a couple hours in the morning, and I'd be like 6 till 9, and then I did that for about 2 years. And I had no friends, and everyone was texting us saying, "Why won't you hang out anymore?" But it wasn't because I was like, I need to change my life, because my life was always relatively good and I was always earning money. I was just addicted to the market. I was addicted to making this work. I was addicted to taking on a challenge and achieving it that many people couldn't. And now I kind of have, and it's like I'm pretty satisfied. And there's another 10 years to go of like success, and I'm excited for it. But would I do them 2 years again? Nope. but I'm glad that I did it. Yep.
You know, we'll move on, because I don't want to keep beating up Kim about it. But I mean, but again,
did you though? Did you, Tim, or no? You did.
Oh yeah, I mean, remember, I had little kids. I had a business, and that's why I started getting up at 4 a.m. I mean, I didn't.
Exactly.
I wasn't getting up at 4 a.m. before trading. Trading is what lit my fire to get up at 4 a.m. because I was like, man, I want to study this shit, you know. And so, I mean, I didn't get to the office till
3 to 5 hours a day. You both have done 3 to 5 hours a day.
I didn't get to the office till 9 o'clock. From 4 a.m. to 9 a.m. Yeah, every day.
Yeah, no, I was doing like 8 hours a day. Yeah. I was like round the clock. I was cutting out sleep, and I was doing every weekend 10 hours.
So again, we can move on. But what we try and do with the podcast is be real, okay?
Yes.
And the simple point is, that's fine. If you're just as busy as Kim, just have realistic expectations, you know. And that's one of the, you know, I say it all the time. That's why we call it the Steady Trade Podcast, not the Get Rich Quick Trading Podcast. You know, if you can only spend a few hours a week, just know it's going to take you a while. And that's just the way it is, you know.
But we live long lives now. We live long lives anyway. With medical advancements, we live a long time, so it's okay. But do you want to close on your predictions? Because I'm shorting all of my savings on the SPY, and you're like, oh, it's ripping. So let's I nearly didn't go home because of America. So, but we'll talk about that. We'll talk about that.
So let's do that. We'll tie this episode up because I think it'd be fun. It'd be fun to look back a year from now. So I'm gonna ask you guys, because I kind of threw this on you last minute. So I'm gonna ask you each a couple questions and see what your predictions are.
Cool.
So and we'll go round robin. So we'll start with Kim's first, and then Steven on Zoom for me. So the overall markets, you know, the S&P 500, the Dow Jones, we just hit all-time highs again today, January 8th. Where do you think we'll be at the end of the year? You know, your options are, I'm only going to give you 3 options: way higher, way lower, or flat. You know, where do we end of the year? Kim.
I think I'm going to say way lower.
Ooh, she is a bear at heart. Steven?
No, I can't stick to the criteria, but I'd say we'll have a
fine. What's your if you didn't stick to the criteria, what's your call?
I think there'll be a similar dip that we had last year, where it looked like a crash, but it wasn't, and it might come towards the early second quarter. You might get a dip May, June, July, which looks like a crash, but then we'll recover from it, and we'll end the year in between slightly higher and way higher than last year. But there will be a market correction that looks like a full panic, but it won't end up. That's
okay. We actually our thoughts mirror, because I say we'll end the year way higher. I think you know, the economy is just too good. Technology is too
insane.
You know,
by the way, the American economy is insane right now. I hear my brother, he's a professor in a laboratory. He says he can't hire good stuff because no one cares, because there's too many jobs available.
My old business, you know, again, I sold the business 6 years ago. Hopefully you won't mind me saying this. My old business partner told me he didn't fire a guy that was drunk on the job because he can't find anybody to replace him.
Yeah, I'm hearing it everywhere. Yeah.
It's like
the economy's crazy.
He would have fired him a million times, but he's like, I can't get anybody to replace him. I'm like, don't drink on the job anymore. That's all he can do.
I don't know if it's Trump or what, but it's doing well. Yeah.
Well, I think it's technology, you know, and that's my next. I'll go to my next question. I mean, listen, you know, I understand the climate's an issue and stuff, but I mean, you look at the advancements in technology. I think oil independence is really close. You know, I just think that technology will fix the environment, and that stuff just flows back, and that's why we continue to boom. And so that's my next. So Kim says way lower. I say way higher. What on the overall market?
No, I was
Steven?
saying mid to way higher.
A little
as well.
higher. Okay, all right. And then the next one is, what do you think? So we've had in the past, we've had crazy marijuana stock runs. We've had cryptocurrency runs. We've had all of these different themes. And again, I'm springing it on you, so you don't have to answer if you don't know, Kim. But what do you think? What's the next big theme? What's going to be the next big stock run in 2020?
I think it might have to do with AI.
Mm-hmm. Good choice. I like it.
I'm not sure in what form, but I just feel I'm just hearing about it from people that I don't normally hear them talking about AI. So I feel that there might be things that, by way of health, I think I'll go healthcare being disrupted by AI.
Ooh, I like that one. Okay, Steven?
As a trend, I mean, I still think AI's got a long way to go in terms of technology before it really like becomes a high, until companies start making lots of money and it becomes like a booming market. I can't see AI like booming because I think there's still advancements in technology before it gets there. I don't really have any industry change. I mean, obviously, if any sector is going to boom, it's probably going to be some sort of green technology or solar technology. I mean, it's pretty much there, and there's heavy investment there. And I know across the Middle East and the Arab Emirates and Saudi, everyone's got 2020, 2030, no reliance on oil, green sector boom, be fully independent with green energy. And I don't know what's happening in America, but I think Europe's following suit. So yeah, the green sector will boom, and I'd put one or two social networks booming out of nowhere as well. TikTok being one of them if it floats on the stock market. Chinese or American.
I tell you, I think I'm going to have to put out requests for resumes for new zany drunken co-hosts, because all we do is agree anymore. I don't like this.
I'm learning.
The whole concept was we were supposed to argue all the time, and now we just agree all the time. So
yeah, I'm wise.
And I totally agree. I think we, green energy. I'm a huge bull. I mean, I look at the fact that, again, most of the listeners, I'm guessing, know, but I mean, Steven's in the Middle East, the center of oil, and they're all thinking about oil independence. I mean, what else is the rest of the world?
Yeah.
And, again, whether or not, I kind of get a little frustrated with some climate alarmists out there, but the fact is it's out there, it's happening. And I think what's amazing about mankind and amazing about human, constant improvement, the fact that we're always looking to solve problems, always looking to fix things. I think we can fix the environment with technology. And I think because of that, that's going to be the next big trend. I mean, whether it be electric cars or solar, wind. My dad, they're actually putting a wind farm in on my dad's farm right now. It's just the cat's out of the bag. Oil is dead as dead. I mean, oil will always be out there. We're not going to use it anymore. Emissions are going to crater. We'll fix it. Elon Musk is going to save us all. So
I just want to,
and we're going to live on Mars. So
I just want to add that in the penny stock market will be majorly disrupted by it, and we've already seen it. We've seen glimpses of it. What is the stock that it made the green moving vehicles, and then it stopped and it started making
WKHS.
Green drones?
Yep, WKHS.
Which one? Yeah, WKHS.
Workhorse. Yeah, yep.
Yeah, Workhorse. We've seen glimpses of green technology companies booming, even though the news is completely, I don't know if it's completely fabricated, but it's like kind of iffy.
Yep.
So if we get legit news, which is kind of reliable, the stocks will boom, and it'll just be a massive trend.
And this is for you, Kim, or the listeners. See, that's what's great. Hope springs eternal in penny stocks. That's the great thing. So
with biotechs, yeah.
So when you see, like, say Tesla comes out with a new vehicle, it's just amazing. You'll see all these little shitty penny stock that are in the electric cars explode. Or let's say GE, the most boring company ever. say they come out with some amazing solar panel technology, you'll see all these little solar panel companies go wild. So yeah, that's what's great about penny stocks.
And what did you say just now, Stephen, about short that penny stocks? Did you say that was going to be disrupted, or is that what?
No.
You just
As saying that the green energy market will be so disruptive, and by disruptive I mean it will
in a good way. The
sector will skyrocket. I mean, it's going to disrupt penny stocks, and that will be the trend.
Okay, gotcha.
A lot of the green energy stocks will really rip and run, and then they'll come all the way back down, and then they'll bounce, and then they'll come down. It's a repeat of marijuana. The green energy will be a repeat of marijuana in 2018.
Agreed.
If it was that year, yeah.
2017 was the big weed.
I know. Fact checker. Can I? But they run every year. I don't know if they really run this year. I can't remember. But is that the last question? Because I want to ask you one final question.
Yeah. Go ahead. Yep. So
what's going on with Tesla? I know you love to hate on it. What's going on with Tesla? Is it ripping, or is it all-time highs now? I've just
Yep. Total all-time highs exploded. I mean, it's $200 a share higher than when everyone thought it was going down. So
can I get your end of year predictions on where Tesla will be in 2020, please?
Ooh, okay. So we're at like 475 today. It hit like 475 today, which is all-time highs. They'll probably do a split at some point, but split adjusted, I think it'll be $1,000 a share by the end of the year. So.
Oh wow, that's you think that's gonna?
And I will pick 100%? You up in my Tesla Cybertruck, which Kim hates, by the way.
It's so ugly.
No, so.
So would you recommend buying dips on that, or you think it's too risky?
Well, I mean, I think if you've got a long-term mindset, and the problem is, especially, it's a $500 stock. So, you buy 10 shares, it's a $5,000 position.
Yeah.
But if if you're a listener out there and you want to get exposed to the market, you can buy a couple shares of Tesla. The only bad part is, I mean, again,
not make much.
2 shares is $1,000, so, it would be a long-term hold, so.
But Tim, this can be a two-parter, but you hated on Tesla back in the day. So why are you saying now that it doubled? I'm sure you hated on Tesla. You were like, it's just rubbish and it's overvalued. I'm sure you hated on Tesla.
Find it.
Okay, I'm sorry. I apologize if I misquoted, but I thought you did.
Search my Twitter feed. I've been an Elon Musk fanboy for 10 years.
He even thought the car was ugly, just like I did, and then in a couple of episodes, he changed his mind. He's like,
I got brainwashed.
Growing on me. I'm like,
now that
I'm a total fanboy. I should have.
I apologize.
If this was like Instagram, I'd have little hearts floating off of my head right now.
But have you guys seen the new? Have you seen the new Audi, the new electronic Audi as well? Oh my God.
Is it sexy?
Car. It's unbelievable. Yeah, looks like a Batmobile. You feel like a superhero in it. But anyway, I'll stop talking. But how you?
Like that. I would have thought he would have made like the sexiest kind of modern car or truck. So I'm kind of surprised because he seemed to have that design aesthetic. And it's like, unless it's a Mad Max future he's envisioning, and that's what that truck looks like, something out of Mad Max. But.
Well, and I think, who knows, it probably was, and whether you love it or hate it, everyone's talking about it too. So it's, that's kind of a Steve Jobs type thing too. Steve would do stuff and he would just kind of like flip everybody off, and I think that's kind of what he did with the truck. He's just like, well, let's see what happens. If people hate it, we redesign it, So.
Yeah. All right. Wait, so Stephen, where do you think Tesla's going to be?
I cannot comment. I'm not so good with long-term stocks. When it's overextended, I short the double tops, and when it's undervalued, I buy the double bottoms, and that's my knowledge on stocks. But I will just finish my part of this with a funny story with Steve Jobs that you reminded us of, and it was on the movie, and it was in the Walter Isaacson book. I think when he left Apple and he started the next company, which was I can't remember the company. It was more of a scientific based company Next
Computer is what it was called. Yeah, they were more like scientific and engineering workstations. Yeah, yep.
But I
lusted after one in middle school. I wanted one so bad, but
really?
They were like $13,000. Yeah.
No, but I remember the story of he'd spent like millions of dollars. Oh, don't quote us on the numbers, but like millions of dollars on the design. And one of his staff went up to him and said, He's like, all right, this is a cool box, but what's inside? And Steve Jobs was like, oh, there's nothing inside. I've just worked on the design. So basically, you spent millions of dollars on building a box with nothing inside. And he's like, yeah, but it's one of the best boxes I've ever seen. One of the most beautiful boxes I've ever seen. That's how crazy Steve Jobs is. So, but anyway, I'm done. Whatever you guys want to wrap up on.
Well, I think I'll take us out here. So would like to thank Kim and Stephen again for another fun episode. To the listeners out there, I always like to remind you, any of these links or references we refer to, books, etc., they'll always be linked on SteadyTrade.com. So head over there. If you're hearing this episode the day it airs, and you haven't bought Mark Douglas Trading in the Zone, highly recommend it. I love it. Stephen loves it. It was actually Stephen's pick for the book club. You heard Kim just read it, and she was raving about it. So the next episode will be us kind of recapping that and breaking it down. So again, if you're listening to this now, you've still got time to order that and read it before the next episode. And would like to thank everyone for listening. And as always, what I want you to do, if you're on YouTube, if you're on the webpage, give us your predictions. Where do you think the overall market will be? The Dow Jones, the SPY, and what do you think the hottest sector of 2020 will be? So we'd like to thank you again for listening, and we'll see you next time.